Ford has filed with the U.S. Patent Office an application published on February 23rd that paints a nightmare dystopia compromising privacy and security as it paints a picture of a future for consumer cars. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Today we are going to break down the 14-page U.S. Patent Office application published to the U.S. Patent Office that's contributed to quite the consumer uproar over the last week. And there's been articles published about this, there's been videos made by other YouTubers, bigger channels, but I think a lot of them are circulating the same 8 or 9 bits of information. I decided to go onto the U.S. Patent Office's website and pull down the 14-page publication that the Patent Office released with the diagrams and actually read all 14 pages, and I thought today I would break down some of the findings that I found that haven't really been talked about, as well as towards the end of the video go over Ford's official response to this publication. And I like to dive right into my content, so if you are stopping by for the first time and you enjoy the format of this video or you find this information helpful, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on Ford kind of foreshadowing some potential future technology with this publication. As well as if you want to see the 14-page memo, check out the link in the description below with the patent file number that you can use to search their website and pull up this document for your own review. So starting with a high-level overview in case anyone missed the actual story, Ford Motor Company through an LLC for their technology division has applied for a patent to a remote car repossession system which nearly seamlessly allows lenders and repossession agencies to go recover the vehicle as well as get information from the vehicle through a series of onboard computers. And if you think this is very big brothery, then it definitely is, and when I read this document I found other bits and pieces that really compromise people's privacy, and we'll talk about how Ford intends to get away with this because of one word that was in this document nearly 25-30 times. The document describes a couple different mechanisms that trigger this recovery method. One is if you default on your payment, the other is if the vehicle is stolen. There's a series of things that they can do through the vehicle's onboard computers, which are diagrammed in this document. So there are two systems that Ford lays out within this document. There is a lending institution interface, which can be a machine interface or a personable interface. And then there is a repossession system, which has access to additional information and systems on the computer. The technology stack is outlined with two systems. The first one is a read-only system in which it gathers information from the vehicle. The second computer is the one that actually accesses and executes commands, so the verbiage reads the system of Claim 17, wherein the processor of the second computer is further configured to access the memory and execute additional computer executable instructions to perform operations, which can include recovering the vehicle if it has autonomous technology. So that's the big thing here that's gotten a lot of headlines, is that these vehicles can repossess themselves from the owner, as well as the first computer is one that will gather information. And so reading this excerpt here below, if the vehicle is parked inside the garage, the repositioned system computer may detect the parked vehicle inside the garage, and based on evaluating images received from the cameras and or sensors, the images may include views of the inside of your garage, the doors. The repossession system may communicate with the computer of the lending institution to inform the lending institution that the vehicle is parked indoors to evade repossession. So there's a lot of technology that these systems are going to leverage to gather information potentially from inside your own home and garage, as well as act on that information to the liking of the institution lending money on the car, as well as the repossession company. And as many other articles have covered, they can shut off your air conditioning, they can turn up your temperatures, they can make the vehicle come to a complete stop, and then so some of this stuff is very invasive in nature. But going back to this document here, you can see the two computers where the lending institution has a lot of read access, but they also have access to the repossession system's master module, which then feeds information to the repossession company, who's then able to execute commands as well as process images from memory of the car's systems on board. They kind of publish this master document where they have the network that's the central figure, and then you can have access to the vehicle from the vehicle itself, from your phone as the owner, as well as a lending institution, medical facilities, and the repossession company. And I'm sure there's practical uses for the medical side of things. Elderly people may get stuck inside their vehicles, they may have a medical emergency that the vehicle can notify first responders as well as unlock itself for them. But I think the good outweighs the bad here because there's definitely some compromises in security in which the vehicle can take pictures inside your home without your prior consent, or at least this document doesn't indicate that your consent is provided at the time of the information gathering. I found this excerpt to be really telling as well. The repossession system's client module can include code for executing various actions in accordance with the disclosure. Keep this word disclosure in mind. In some scenarios, the repossession system module may utilize the image processing module or the sensor data evaluation module to process information to the repossession system's computer by various devices such as, for example, the camera or the camera. Various image technologies may be used as well. In this example, the image processing module may incorporate an image on a neutral network that is trained to analyze images of various objects and detect, for example, a closed status of a garage and or medical emergency situation such as a heart attack. So if it detects you having a heart attack inside the vehicle, it will report itself to first responders through this AI technology. So that's kind of the advertised medical benefits. And the word disclosure is very important because you have to ask yourself, what rights of yours does this violate by taking information from the confines of your own home and sending it to lending institutions as well as repossession agencies? Well, the document uses the term disclosure 41 times in the document that I counted. And so what I can only assume here is that they're going to make you sign a disclosure or a waiver of rights to allow or enable themselves to be able to do this when you purchase a vehicle, whether that's through the vehicle when you start, when they ask you to hit a prompt acknowledging yourself to this information gathering, or at the time of purchase. There's a couple different ways I'm sure they can do this, but they're going to probably make you waive your rights to privacy with your own vehicle. And so as you can expect, this is kind of an overview of what the 14 pages contain. They can shut off your air conditioning, change your temperatures, make the car uncomfortable or unusable to be able to deter your actions or guide your actions into returning the vehicle if you are delinquent on your payment, if you're stealing the vehicle, or a whole host of other conditions in which they can justify doing what to do here. Now, if you ask me, I have an axe to grind with Ford, a diehard Ford fan for my whole life, but I think their dealer allocation model and their sales model is very anti-consumer because it leads the consumer to be fighting for dealer allocation as opposed to the dealer fighting for the customer's business. I know for a fact 7 dealerships within my area that are within a group that they've created to charge a minimum of $50,000 over MSRP for the Raptor Rs that they get. So they're effectively cornering the market, and because Ford is not tying every production unit to a consumer order, but rather a dealership is able to order dealer stock, they can openly get away with this kind of customer abuse. This kind of stuff definitely alienates me personally from the brand even more. And I have to say that Ford Motor Company's spokesman said that they submit patents on new inventions on a normal course of business, but they aren't necessarily an indication of new business or product plans. So they file this stuff through an LLC, which on the top of the patent application is referred to as Ford Global Technologies LLC. So they're trying to gain ownership of this concept. And there's no indication in their own words that they plan to ever put this in production, but the fact that they're even putting this out there as a picture or a possibility or a potential is at least eyebrow raising, and that's why it's gotten a lot of noise over the last week or so. And as we saw with BMW and Toyota, who tried to introduce subscription services for the car's remote start predating vehicles even in the past, and how much resentment that got the brand, I can't imagine this does the Ford brand any justice. Because ultimately, as long as somebody is offering a vehicle that doesn't have this kind of invasive technology, the brand that's offering it is at a disadvantage. Because I would much rather drive an older vehicle than a new EV that has a lot of technology but that is invasive to this level. Like, what if I want to go draw me like one of your French girls, Jack, in my garage in the privacy of my own home, and a repossession agency or a bank lender has access to this system to be able to pull information and pictures from within my own home? And I understand a disclosure 41 times in this document indicates that I may be waiving my right to that privacy, but personally there's no vehicle out there that makes me want to violate or forego my privacy in exchange for whatever product that is. So we can only hope that Ford is truthful to their statement that there's no indication this is a production system or intended to be in production, and we hope that this technology never makes it to production. But hopefully you found this information informative. You can read the 14 pages yourself, but I pulled out a couple of bits and pieces that I thought hadn't been covered yet and explained some of the verbiage within the document to overview what all this noise is about. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. If you have not already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as always, until the next video, I look forward to seeing all of you in the comment section below.